How we doing, everybody? Welcome back to the B Team. Another good episode today. We got Mike over there. Give him a wave. Very good.
What's up, y'all?
Don't deuces today. Deuces.
Live long and prosper.
Spock.
Live long and prosper. What's up?
We got the free agent quarterback carousel today. We got the NHL Four Nations. It's going to be a really good one. But first, this episode of the B Team is brought to you by our good friends over at Mesa Modern Mexican, located in the heart of Easton, PA. Mike.
Yep.
Mesa is a spot to go for lunch, dinner, or drinks in 2025. From the food to the service, a.k.a. Mike,
Yep.
It is a 5-star experience, and now we are happy to be giving you 10% off when you go there and mention the B Team. All you got to do is say what the B Team sent us. Mikey and Colin from the B Team sent you to get 10% off your entrees today at Mesa Modern Mexican. Mike, give me some of the entrees that you could get there.
Dude, come in, man. All right, listen, for the people who have used the code, I appreciate you. We appreciate you. But there are a lot of other people that follow the pod. And, dude, after a day of work, just drive over 15, 20 minutes from Bethlehem, not even. Go somewhere new, get a new atmosphere. Come see me at Mesa. Get some entrees. Get the grilled skirt steak. Get the mac and queso, get the enchiladas, get the seared shrimp and scallop, the hidden gem on the menu. I also got some videos coming our way. I'll post on my Instagram. We did a little social media experiment yesterday. Me making drinks, and then there are a couple entrees. A red snapper, if you like some fish. I mean, that's all you, baby. But I'll be posting them. Check them out. Really good stuff. Shout out to Tomatillo Social. I think his name is Tom, but he's never going to listen to this. But
Big Tom.
Shout out to you, buddy. Did a lot of good stuff, man. The drinks looked great. The food looked great. So come to Mesa. Use the discount. Come hang out with me. Mesa Modern Mexican.
All right, Mike, quarterback carousel. The free agency is going to be opening up. I think it closes when? You got to be signed basically by what? March 20?
Yeah, so mid-March is when
I think it's March 23rd.
I believe during the combine or after the combine is when the free agency starts. Yeah. I know this because I remember when we wanted Kirk years ago. I was in Florida at the time.
Last year?
No, this was last year too. But this was maybe 8 to 9 years ago. I was in Florida visiting my cousin, and like the Kirk news was coming around. This is when he was exiting the Vikings off a tremendous, pretty much career with the Vikings, and I was just hunting down free agency. Couldn't wait. Yeah. So it should be around March 15th to the 16th, around there. Don't know the exact date, but it's
crazy?
important.
We're sitting here. We're going to speculate on the date. We could just look it up.
We could look it up.
I'm just going to look it up.
Listen, also, if I do get this job, I will be sent a MacBook, so we can have.
Oh, look at you!
Yeah,
look
so
at you.
Two of us will have the MacBooks.
That's
Information will be dialed in. We will make sure that we have everything specified down to in detail. March 12th,
4 p.m.
4 p.m. All right, so you're going to see. For me, in my opinion, I think quarterbacks. It's going to be a long process. It's not going to be a right away thing. Once one quarterback gets signed, I think the dominoes will fall, but I think it's going to take time, especially guys like Stafford. I think guys like Darnold, they're going to take a little bit more time because, again, in Stafford's case, he needs to get traded for the best financial ability of the Rams to get money back and to not take over a dead cap. I think he's going to get traded. It's going to take him a long time. Guys like Fields, guys like Russ, Darnold, again, that's a big one. That's probably the biggest domino, in my opinion. I think Stafford's number 2. After that, it's guys who you really know what their ceiling is, who they are as a quarterback. So it's wild. There are a lot of teams that you would think don't need a quarterback but do, in my opinion, like Miami. Again,
let's figure them out. I feel like we've done this before.
We've done it so many times. But
Miami.
If we're talking about strictly
Raiders.
Free agency, Miami, Raiders,
Jets,
the Rams now, the Jets, the Colts again with AR. The Browns are another one that we haven't really talked about. The Saints, I think, will rock with Derek Carr. Who else? I'm thinking about another one. Minnesota. Well, what is Minnesota going to do?
Jacksonville.
Yeah, I think obviously. You know what? They're probably going to stick with Trev. They got the.
They're shopping
maybe for
him.
a backup.
They're shopping him.
They're shopping him.
Did you not see his stuff with the Steelers?
They're Well, that could be speculation at the end of the day.
Trevor
They just
Lawrence
got paid
and
him. He's got a massive contract.
That doesn't stop everybody.
True, but it's who's going to take that over. You know what I mean? That's a big contract that he got. Mac Jones, get out of here. The Giants, of course. Yeah, the Titans are another one. I mean, all these guys who are top 3 in the draft, maybe even top 6 in the draft, top 7. The Jets are at 7. Those guys all need quarterbacks too. Most of them. I mean, the Patriots don't, but
Yeah.
Well, let's
What's
see.
interesting is that you're seeing Abdul Carter be projected number 1 now in some mock drafts. So Tennessee, like if they don't take a quarterback, that changes the draft drastically. If they take a quarterback, that bumps everyone up a pick, basically saying like, oh, we got to go get our guy. That number 1 pick really affects the Raiders the most. This helmet is a problem.
Go ahead, throw it right here.
Been a problem
throw
for
next
weeks. They've been a problem for years. Since 2000, they have not known how to play football properly.
Throw it next to Mr. Return to the Team Peterborough.
Yeah, you guys
Mr.
signed a
Polar
50-year-old to put him next to a guy who's going to bat career 200.
Have you seen the Juan Soto videos?
Yeah, you guys are milking it.
Of course, dude.
I know. I would
course.
too.
Oh,
I would
it's
too. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm
gorgeous.
just saying be careful because he's a career 200 hitter. It's gonna be
gorgeous.
brutal when he shows up and can't hit the ball.
Oh my God, he's gonna destroy the league.
All right, let's get into this though. We cannot get into
No,
baseball.
tell who you want to start off with. You tell me.
Let's start with Matty Staff because I think that one's the most interesting. The rest of them are kind of a lot of speculation around him. Matty Stafford's the one that's kind of confirmed. They are looking to move on. They would love to keep him, but looking to move on. I mean, he's 37 years old. He would, if they trade Stafford, right? $45.3 million dead cap hit in 2025, $23 million in 2026. He supposedly is looking for a new contract that would put him with the top 10 quarterbacks in the league. I don't see him getting that. I don't see him even being a top 10 quarterback in the league right now at all. Like, when you think of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league today, is Matty Stafford in that category?
He's not, but he's close. I think he's closer than a lot of people think, because last year, I feel like the last couple of years he's had a resurgence towards the back end of the year where look at the Rams this year. They really weren't moving the needle for the first 8 weeks of the season. Then they started to heat up. And again, this was the team before the season. This was the team before the season where everyone was high on, like, oh, the Rams, don't sleep on the Rams, this. Gassy was high on them too. I had faith in them. I didn't think they were going to do it right off the bat, especially with Puka getting hurt. But, hey, we can't forget that they almost beat the Birds in Philly in a snow game to move on to the NFC Championship. So I think he still has some left in the tank. And, again, it's going to be the contract that's going to be the issue for guys. But I think for the Rams, it would be the smartest move because there's really not a necessity to pay him that much money where you have a lot of guys you have to move off. Cooper Kupp's going to be one of them. Where I see any, you know what, wild that we didn't talk about this. Why don't the Jets try and get him? There's been no talk or no rumors about the Jets even being in the running for Matthew Stafford. I know it's a little bit out of the ordinary for them, or they shouldn't go that route. It's not out of the ordinary. Hold on, I take that back. It's not the route that they should go because they've gone this route now, especially with Rodgers having an older quarterback.
Like, that doesn't make any sense because if you were just going to go and get Matty Stafford after releasing, you should have just stuck with Rodgers. That makes no sense to get Matty Stafford.
But I think Rodgers was it was different in his case though. Like I know they're kind of like the same quarterback in a way, but I just feel like with him bringing in Devontae and his whole shebang, I just didn't think he was bought in. I truly didn't. I think Stafford would be a little bit different in that way because he's going to throw to Garrett. There's going to be no like, I don't know, like hatred or weird tension towards each other. It probably won't happen, but listen, why not? Why not even try?
What
made it to the playoffs
genuinely,
every single
what
year.
is different from Matty Stafford and Aaron Rodgers as players?
I just think the baggage as players. I mean,
Matty Stafford brings his wife to the Jets.
I'd rather
she's a problem. She's talking shit on teammates.
I would rather have a guy's dumbass wife talking shit than a guy who's done DMT in his black room for 3 days and is bringing friends just to hang out in the jersey and probably everything else. Yeah. Oxycontin.
He admitted that.
But what else
is he doing?
Yeah.
On Joe Rogan.
So again, is it going to happen? Probably not. But just a thought. But as a landing spot,
so as a landing spot. Right, so we can look at landing spots along with this. What do you think is a fair asking price for Matty Stafford?
For a trade, I would say a second would be like the maximum. I think a second round pick would definitely be the top. You're not trading a first for Stafford. It's not happening. Or you get a third and a player and maybe a future conditional pick in like 2026, 27. Again, it's just taking over the contract. The contract is the biggest thing that hurts them, but I don't know where else he would fit that would be making sense. Again, the Jets would be a great fit as a fan to look at, but does it make sense for them? I don't think so.
Colts.
But The Colts are another one, but the thing is, are they going to stay with AR? Like, if we're talking about teams that like are in dire need of a quarterback, the Titans would be one. I think Rodgers and the Titans would be one. The Titans are in an interesting spot because they can just go and get the best available player right off the bat, like Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, or they could trade back. Because again, once you heat up towards the draft, all of these quarterbacks, like Jackson Dart, he's going to be. I think he's going to be a top 10 pick. I'm calling it now. I think Jackson Dart's going to move it to the top 10. He's going to get chosen. We've seen this so many times. Where JJ is another one. He was projected to be a top 20 pick, maybe even top 25 pick. All this heat started coming up. Draft time started coming up. Now he's a top 10 pick for the Minnesota Vikings.
But this is how Zach Wilson's get drafted.
Exactly. But hey, listen, everyone had faith in Zach Wilson besides me.
Free agent this year. Could the Jets do a funny thing and bring him back? Who knows?
I'd kill myself. But JJ McCarthy, like, was he? Everyone that watched him in college, everyone knew what he was. He was okay. He's a game manager. Yes, he could throw a nice ball, but like he's not putting up wild numbers. Like, I don't know, 300 yards a game, 3 touchdowns. Like, he's doing kind of like what Jalen Hurts is doing. Let's say that. But again, Jalen Hurts obviously had a great Super Bowl. But throughout this season, when you have a run game and you can just manage the clock and you can hit the receivers you can, get short yardage, I think that's what JJ is, and that's what we thought JJ was going into the draft. But guys will look at the tangibles, the height, the arm length, the throw time, the accuracy. Shit like that actually matters to quarterbacks that don't show it in college. So I think Jackson Dart's one of them that's going to creep up.
I agree with you, and I think that this whole idea that Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders are far and above the best 2 quarterbacks in this draft is a stretch.
I think it's a stretch too.
I think it's much closer to Jalen Milroe and Jackson Dart. What's his name out of Oregon? You love him.
Dylan Gabriel.
Dylan Gabriel. I think all 5 of them are very close in ability in what they bring to the table because they're all different quarterbacks. They all have positives. They all have negatives. None of them were great the whole season. You know, none of them won the national championship, right? Like, no one's talking about the Ohio State quarterback.
Will Howard.
No one's talking about him. He ran the table and won the whole thing. Looked great in that national championship. No one's talking about him.
Yeah.
But you could argue that he's not really that far off these other guys who were unable to get it done. I mean, hell, Shedeur couldn't even get into the playoff. And he had supposedly the greatest team of all time coming in every season. So I have a hard time believing that these teams are just going to be hard set on Cam Ward and Shedeur. I think when they start getting the meetings, like you said, you're going to see a Jackson Dart shoot up those boards, and he might go 2. You could see a Jalen Milroe go 2. Just because these teams are going to go watch them. They're going to see them on their campus, and they're going to see them at the combine. And you're going to see these numbers are very similar and or better. And you're going to start thinking, you're going to see these GMs start thinking like, all right, is Shedeur really that guy, or are we just hyped up by the media? Which I do like Shedeur. He's the best Sanders child that is on a football field right now. I cannot believe that people are upset that his other kid did not get invited to the combine. That is atrocious. He got lit up by guys that we're never going to hear of again. But I am I wrong?
Yeah, because I've never heard of his other son. I have no
exactly.
idea.
Thank you. His name's Shiloh.
There you go.
His name's Shiloh. He plays safety and corner. He gets lit up like every game. He has like 2 good games, and everyone.
Pulling strings,
brutal.
man.
It's brutal. But all right, let's stay
Stafford.
Stuck on Stafford here.
I have the team.
I think that if you're going to trade for Stafford, you have to be in a win-now scenario at wide receiver. Running back, you can get away with Stafford at running back because I think his arm opens up the run game a good bit. We've seen that, I mean, with a number of running backs. I can't really remember a running back that wasn't successful with him. I mean, hell, he made Reggie Bush look successful up in Detroit. So I think if he's going to go somewhere, you have to have weapons on the flanks for him. Like the Jets. The Jets do have weapons, but we just said that doesn't really make sense because why would you move off Rodgers?
What about the other New York team? Because that's where I think
I was just going to say.
That should be number 1.
If the Giants were to pick him up, you know, and the salary cap just opened up a bit yesterday. So everyone gained a little bit of traction there. I think the Giants are in a situation where if they were to bring Stafford in, that their pick, they could go and get another wide receiver. And you already got Neighbors. You already got Tracy back there. I think that team could be very good with a Matty Stafford. And all of a sudden, you're looking at the NFC Beast in a 4-team race. Right now, it's probably a 2.5 because the commies, I think they're toast. But the the Giants could step in there and all of a sudden the Commies are coming in last place, or even the Birds, because they won't be in the contention to win the division next year. So they're coming in second, third, or fourth. It's really a very interesting scenario.
Mm-hmm.
I refuse to put the Cowboys in that scenario.
There you go.
But they could be too.
Why I think, and you got to think about this too. All these teams that we're talking about, especially the teams that need quarterbacks, they're gonna have a lot of cuts. So for the Jets example, they're going to get rid of Rodgers. They're going to trade him or release him. That's going to release some money. Devontae Adams is going to save you millions of dollars. Michael Clemens, Alan Lazard. The Jets are going to free up so much cap space. They're 20th right now. They might move up to top 5 at some point because they have so many cuts to make. I think the Giants are in the same boat, and their cap space is a lot higher than the other teams. They're going to get rid of some guys. What are they going to do with Jalen Hyatt, Darius Slayton, guys on defense? The O-line, is Evan Neal going to get cut? Who knows? Andrew Thomas probably going to get extended. But Matthew Stafford makes sense for them, and that's why I think he should go there. Because what do you got? You got breaking news?
The Giants have $45 million in cap space right now. They're in a good situation.
100%. And again, they're going to make a bunch of cuts, and they're going to free up that cap space because of the rule that just put in the increased salary cap. They can use Stafford's got some in the tank still. Like how old is he? He's maybe 36, 37. 37. Dude, you get good 2-3 years out of Stafford and you just build around him. Again, the key about everything is find your quarterback while you have a quarterback and then fill out your roster. Again, Malik Neighbors, solidified wide receiver 1. They got some defensive playmakers. They got Brian Burns out there. They got that one cornerback they just drafted. They have the playmakers to do it. The defense is good when they have to be, but the offense, again, when your offense is not on the field producing, you're gonna give up some points. But I think it's a really good spot for them because I don't think the Giants love the quarterbacks in this draft. And I don't think that they should be drafted as high as they should if they don't love them. Do they love Shedeur Sanders like that? Is he moving the needle for them? Is Cam Ward going to drop where they probably will take him? Like, Stafford wouldn't be bad. And again, you have so much cap space to use in that scenario. I think that's his best landing spot. I think that's the best for the Giants. They need a guy like that. Yeah. They haven't had a guy like that since Eli.
In the Giants, I mean, you look at what they've brought in. Daniel Jones, and I'm going to give Daniel Jones some love here. When you look at the teams that he had,
just wait, bro.
Daniel Jones actually did pretty damn good. I mean, he got you guys to the playoffs. As much hate as you like to give him, he got you guys to the playoffs, and he was a stereotypical Giants quarterback.
That's like us hating on Darnold, bro. And look what he just did.
We're going to talk about Darnold in a little bit, and I have a hot take on him. It's not really that hot. I think you're going to agree with it very much. But I think that this team would be better suited to rock with Drew Lock than to go into the draft this year.
I really it's wild, bro. Because think about
a Jackson. You don't want a Jackson Dart to come in there where you have.
What are they going to do? They're not going to move.
Every
anything.
quarterback is going to have questions. The only one that I think could go into New York and handle it and do decent.
Staff.
I don't even know if he would do well. Would be Cam Ward. Because he's kind of got that mentality. He's at Miami. You could see him in the videos that he puts out.
New York,
I know, but he kind of talks a big game. He would probably talk himself into trouble in New York.
That's my thing.
But I think football-wise, on the field, he'd be able to handle the adversity the best out of all of them. But that's why, he still has questions, right? There's still questions about can he get it done? Because you see players like Cam Ward, Caleb Williams was making similar plays. And he was getting sacked the whole season. He couldn't get it done with the Chicago Bears. Now they're talking about winning a Super Bowl. That's fucking blasphemous, Lucas. Lucas, you got to get a hold of your coach.
He'll be on soon.
I don't think your coach realizes that you guys are owned by the Green Bay Packers still.
It's just so different.
But this Giants team really should take a look at Matthew Stafford. That's a great thought on your part.
I really think
that that's a great move for them. They have a lot of cap space there. You could use your draft picks a little better because I think there's better options.
They could definitely use them
at skill positions this year than it is at quarterback, which is weird to say. Usually you have one or two quarterbacks that you're like, oh,
one and two, like
these guys be very good.
And Caleb, we don't have that.
Yeah, there's usually at
least who's the number one. We don't know.
Yeah, usually it's solidified 1 and 2, and then there's a couple guys that they could be good, but you don't know, and they could come in and be very good, but until you see it, you don't know. I think this year skill positions are going to win this draft. Skill positions, who's building the trenches. You look at 2023, there was only one running back that had over 1,200 yards, and it was Christian McCaffrey. This year, I believe there was 8 or 9.
Yeah.
It shows where this league's going. You got to build those trenches. You got to use your running back wisely. The running back position, Saquon might have brought it back. Derrick Henry might have brought it back.
Josh Jacobs.
I mean,
those guys are free agents.
These guys are the running back position is here.
Mm-hmm.
I think you really got to think about, what's the smartest way to build a franchise? Maybe it's not to draft a quarterback. Maybe it's really to draft guys.
It's ground and pound at the end of the day.
Ground and pound.
Look what we just saw in the Super Bowl. And everyone is like, oh, it's a different league. Last year was a different league. I thought we saw a more pass-heavy league, but now it's let's get back to the basics and the fundamentals. What wins games? The trenches and running the football. Now with the Giants, last thing on the Giants for me here. The thing is, when you talk about Matthew Stafford, how many people are like, nah, he's washed. He doesn't have it anymore. Like,
no one.
Nobody.
No one.
Who says that about Matthew Stafford?
I will never say that.
He's a slinger. He's a gunslinger. I will
never say that because of his time in Detroit. That man is a beast. He's a beast.
You want to talk about adversity, dude? If you can do that in Detroit, New York would be a breeze, man. Listen, you'll be dealt some tough questions, but at the end of the day, you were in Detroit and you were in the dumps of Detroit. Yeah. And you could come to New York and you could bring all that with you and actually try to win football games.
Yes.
So
it's crazy that, he's probably remembered more for his time in Detroit than he is in LA, and he won a Super Bowl in LA, and he honestly
almost beat the Birds.
Dude, was he on the 0-17 team? 0-16?
I don't think he was. No.
He wasn't? He was gone?
I think that he was drafted after that.
Drafted after that.
Because they must have the number one pick.
Yeah, that was Dan Orlovsky, that dumbass.
Orlovsky.
All right, let's move on here.
I like that. Good
I like that, though. Matt Stafford to New York, that's a good one. Where do you want to get into here? You want to get into Darnold?
Let's
get into our guy Darnold.
Like, follow, subscribe. Like, follow, subscribe. Like, follow, subscribe. Back to the show.
So
the
Vikings have a very big offseason ahead of them. Mm-hmm. You got to make a decision for the future because Sam Darnold, who is, let's see, do you know how old Sam Darnold is? He's your guy.
Probably 27.
He is
28.
27. Yep. Great pool. That's your guy.
That's your
guy.
That's my dude.
Sam Darnold's 27. He's not exactly old. We were just talking about a 37-year-old being a franchise guy still. 37. This guy's 27. That's 10 years of good football if you really want it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get half of what he gave you last year with that team that you have around him, you're probably doing something. Now, you got to bring back Aaron Jones. I believe he's a free agent this year. I think he's earned the right to come back.
I agree.
Now it's just a matter of the money side of it.
Yeah, that's going to be the biggest dispute.
You got Justin Jefferson, who's arguably the best wide receiver in football. You got Jordan Addison, who's one of the best up-and-coming number twos in football. And then you look at that defense. You got dogs on that defense. Unlucky in the playoffs. I mean, they lost to L.A., correct?
Yep.
Lost to L.A., but it was a neutral site game. I think if the game was played in L.A. in the Fires, I think Vikings win. Vikings are built for that. They always were since the Middle Ages.
You are something, kid.
But
I love the shit you just bring out, like the Wildfires, Vikings. They were born in that shit, dude.
Yeah.
They can handle it.
Yeah, I mean, am I wrong? No,
you're not.
So
you're not.
They got a big offseason because you drafted JJ last year. What are you going to do with JJ? He's on a rookie contract. You don't exactly know what he could do on a football field yet. You haven't seen him because I don't believe he even played preseason last year. And now we're sitting here and we're like, fuck, like Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold might be like,
we flipped. I can't believe you're saying this. We flipped.
What?
I said exactly what you were saying after the playoff loss, and now I am on the train that you were on before.
Yeah.
You flipped. We flipped.
What train are you on?
I'm on. I think he goes elsewhere. I think they're not going to sign him. I think they're going to rock with JJ. I don't think they bring him back.
But that brings me to my final point here, because deep down, I think the Vikings should bring him back.
Wow,
I don't think they will.
Okay, gotcha.
Because I see Sam Darnold as the next Baker Mayfield.
Boom. That's not a bad thing.
I see him as traveling around, which actually, you know what? Time out. We're forgetting something here. He started on the Jets. They are going to sign him. They are going to sign him because he's already done the traveling. And I think he's found his spot. The locker room loves him. The head coach loves him. He professed his love on the sideline through the headset. I don't know if you saw that clip.
Oh, for sure.
Sam Darnold's going to be a Viking for a long time. I think if there is a time to move off JJ, it is now. No one knows what he could do on the football field. I just did a 180 to my 180 to my 180 just now. JJ McCarthy could be moved for pieces. He can be moved for picks.
Easy.
There's teams that will look at JJ as a Justin Fields experiment, give him a 1-year deal, maybe sit him behind a Will Levis, and you rock with 2. You send him to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh loves running the 2-man offense up there with Russ and Fields. Send him to Pittsburgh. You don't know what he might do. I think there's options for J.J. McCarthy, whereas Sam Darnold, you're kind of locked into someone's going to have to give him a bag.
That's my thing as to why I don't think the Vikings will bring it back, because when you're going to see a lot of J.J. in the offseason. Do they want to bite the bullet on Darnold. I mean, again, we
They got
just saw
$60 million in cap space.
they have $60 million cap space. That's good. I mean, they should. I think they should, and they should rock with him for the long term. But after what we just saw in the playoff losses, I don't think it's going to get it done. And listen, whatever they do, I don't think there's a right and wrong, because they drafted JJ for a reason. Like you've been saying for the last couple months, they drafted JJ for a reason. You drafted him that high for a reason. Again, you don't really know. You know what you have, but you haven't seen it yet because he's been hurt. Mm-hmm. Darnold was like a one-hit wonder, but like, can he break that? Because you saw with Baker too. He went to the Vikings, took him to the playoffs. They were like 14-3, great record. Do they want to give him a massive bag? I mean, what you just saw from Darnold was spectacular. And again, yes, he might have had a very bad postseason, but there are teams that will give him a bag. And I got two. I think the Steelers could possibly bring him in. And I think the Rams. I think the Rams is the best spot for him.
You think the Rams bring him back?
I think not bring him back, but I think the Rams take him from the Vikings and they pay him the bag. Because think about it. It resembles a guy like Stafford. He resembles a guy like Goff. I think he is super similar to those guys in a way. And I think McVay, who Kevin O'Connell was under his tree, can easily coach up Sam Darnold. And he's an LA guy. But bring him back home and get younger. Dude, he's just like Stafford and Goff.
Are you trying to move off Stafford because you don't want to pay him?
Yes, but again, he's younger, so you can give him a bigger contract. You can give him
extended. Okay,
you can give him an extended contract. I think that he's perfect for LA.
Yeah,
for so many reasons. Again, Viking, bring him back to the Wildfires. He knows the offense. He's gonna have Puka. He's gonna have Tyler Higbee. He's gonna have Kyrie Williams. It's a very similar offense to what Minnesota ran.
You know what? I'm doing
two of those
another
coaches
180.
are the same.
I'm doing another 180. I agree with you,
right?
Because I think
it makes so much sense.
You could put any quarterback into that offense and it's going to be good. It's like the Philadelphia Eagles. You put JJ in there and all, like he could throw to Addison and JJ. They're going to get open. They're going to get open. Then you got who? Their tight ends, Hawkinson.
Like, healthy.
Hawkinson's a better Hawkinson.
Oh, of
but
course.
He'll get open. And then you got a good D line. You got a good defense. You got a good O line. That team could still win. I'm not saying they're going to go 14-3, but I think he could pull like a 10-win season.
And that's fine. I mean, for a guy who didn't play his rookie year and you have on a rookie deal already, and are you going to win a Super Bowl? Maybe. We never know. I mean, listen, Jane Daniels made it to the NFC Championship.
Yeah.
But
my problem is I don't want the expectations to be too high for JJ. I like JJ.
No, they shouldn't.
But
they shouldn't.
I feel like when you come off a 14-3 season with Sam Darnold, Sam Darnold did well. You liked him. You loved him. But at the end of the day, like Sam Darnold has that stereotype with him of, what he did on the Jets. Mm-hmm. And JJ's coming in here as a top 3 pick and won a national championship. And there's going to be expectations where, like, this is our guy. Like, we drafted him in the first round for a reason. He's gonna get us to the next level. And if he comes in and only wins 10 games and, he has games where he throws 4 or 5 interceptions.
Season? No.
It's not. No. It's not. But, like, I think Vikings fans have to kind of reel back their expectations of this team, because even if Sam Darnold was the quarterback again, you're not doing that.
Yeah, it's just not happening.
He could even go out there and get 10 or 11 wins.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you.
I don't know. I just want to protect JJ.
No,
I like JJ. I like
fair.
the guy.
Yeah.
I like the guy.
I mean, he's an exciting guy that we want to see play. And
yeah.
We've seen that with Jordan Love. Jordan Love was the same thing. There are a bunch of other quarterbacks
That's
that were
actually
like
not
that
a bad
too.
comparison.
Jordan Love?
Yeah.
Yeah,
with
I
JJ?
mean, I think Jordan Love's more of a slinger. I mean, I think the way that he dropped back, he was looking to pass first. He was ready to just drop back, get it out right off the bat. But I just think Sam to LA makes so much sense, because that's a guy I believe that can break that curse of the stereotype, as you say. Baker had that stereotype too, and look at him now. He was a top 5 quarterback last year, based off his numbers. He actually was
2 years.
He was a top 5 quarterback based off his numbers. You bring in a guy like Darnold, and you got your picks now. All those picks that you gave up to win the Super Bowl are now over. You have Jared Verse. You have Braden Fisk. You got that one edge. You got that good linebacker. They have the potential to win the division. I'm going to say win the division, because I really think they can. Where does San Fran go from here? With Brock and obviously the aging players. But Darnold to LA with McVay, he's going to get coached right. We saw what he can do. I think he can do it in LA.
Mm-hmm. All right, yeah, I like that. Again. I think we're 2 for 2.
Yeah.
Now, that's going to be the most confusing segment for some people, because I 180, then I 180, then I 180, then I 180 again.
Yeah. And listen,
agree
it's
with you.
not going to be the Rams too. Like, listen, he can go to the Raiders. I don't think that would be the best spot for him.
No,
he
he
can go
should
to
not.
Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh wouldn't be bad either. I think Pittsburgh, he fits that like Big Ben mentality in a way. He's not like, I don't know. He's easy to take down in a way, but like he can handle Pittsburgh.
Let's think here. All right, picture Sam Darnold right now. I want you to close your eyes.
I can't picture
him in a
Steelers
Raiders uniform.
No.
Exactly.
No.
Not picture him in L.A. Looks good.
makes
It looks
so
good.
much
It looks
sense.
way better.
See,
that's what I mean. He won't be at those two places. So he'll be at L.A. or the Vikings.
Well, perfect.
All right, let's move on here. So speaking of the Steelers, let's talk about them.
All right, both of them.
Both of their quarterbacks are going to be leaving for sure.
Let's go.
For sure. We got Russ and we got Fields. Pick your poison, Mike.
Let's do Russ first. I think Russ is probably the most likely to be gone because he's going to need a new contract, I believe. I think Vegas works out for him perfectly. I know we talked about this last show. You want Justin Fields to Vegas. I don't think Fields would succeed in Vegas. I really don't. I just don't think they're that good. They're not good enough.
Idea.
Go ahead.
I have a new idea for Fields.
Sure.
Because I agree with you. I don't think that they're ready enough
I
for
don't
him to
think they're
succeed
ready.
there. And, do I think Russ is a good option for them? Yes and no.
Yeah.
Because of what I said last show. I just don't think he's the same Russ that Pete Carroll worked with in his first couple of years with Seattle. I don't think Russ has it in his legs to be that guy anymore. Possibly in his arm, too. He was throwing up some ducks this year. But the way that team operates, they don't really need someone to go over the top so much. They can be run heavy. They can dink and dive down the field. You got Brock Bowers. So I think Russ could be successful in the sense he could get you like 7-8 wins with that Raiders team, which is probably overperforming at that point.
100%. They're in such a bad position too, where you just need a guy who could just be the bridge. Like they're not winning the Super Bowl. They're not winning the division. Get a bridge guy in there for 2 years, like Russ. Fill out the roster and get Pete and Russ back together.
You have a bridge head coach as well. So why not just get a bridge quarterback to go with him?
The oldest in the league.
I did come to a different conclusion for Justin Fields though since last show.
Just say it. I know you're going to say it, bro.
The New York Jets.
I knew it.
Hear me out, though, because it's the same reasons why I said he would be good out in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Year 4, going on year 5, young quarterback, Aaron Glenn. What kind of quarterback does he want? He just got rid of Aaron Rodgers, who just sat in the pocket and won the pass all day. Yeah. Does he want to switch it up and have a Justin Fields back there where it opens up? Think about this offense with Justin Fields, Mike. You got weapons at wide receiver. You have a weapon at tight end. You got a decent O-line. Not great, but it's decent. I think with Justin Fields, it would look much better because Aaron Rodgers literally just sat there. Let's think about the Colts game we went to. That last play.
I was sleeping.
That last play, literally. That was crazy. I could not believe that. First quarter, I'm sitting there and a good play happens and I turn to say something to Mike. This dude is snoring.
Yeah.
I'm seeing Z's coming off his head. It was crazy.
What a sad life.
But think about it. Like, when Aaron Rodgers sat there in the pocket, he just got walloped by these defensive linebackers, everyone. And if Justin Fields is there, he can actually escape. And I think there's going to be a lot of space there for him to run because of the run game being very good with Breece Hall. You're going to have Garrett Wilson getting the ball. There's more options with Justin Fields at quarterback. Yes. And I think Aaron Glenn, if he's not sold on getting his franchise quarterback in the draft this year, I think Justin Fields would be a good option. And like we said last time, you give him 2-3 years, right? 2-3 years, and that gives you time where you could draft someone and have him sit behind them for a year. It gives you time to really analyze him and be like, okay, this could be our guy. Because Justin Fields didn't do bad in Chicago by any means. It just was they had a generational quarterback come through, and he has not been generational. But everyone speaks highly of him in Chicago. I've never heard one bad thing about him in Chicago.
Yeah.
And in Pittsburgh, it was the same thing. He's been successful everywhere he's gone. I mean, the only place he wasn't successful was Georgia, and he transferred and won national championships.
With Garrett Wilson.
So I think Jets, great spot.
I wouldn't hate it. And
you don't have to pay him a lot.
Yeah, and that's my thing, is he's going to be a guy that's cheap. That's why Kirk I didn't think was a bad option, because he's a cheaper option. Dude, you could probably pay Kirk $1.5 million and call it a day for a year. Swear to God, that's fine. But you got a new regime in there. I think Justin Fields is a value play. It's like high risk, high reward type of thing. But again, you want to just have someone who's new and fresh in there. I think we've been through this pocket passer. The Jets O-line has its days, then it doesn't. Most of it really doesn't have its days. When you have a guy that can escape, my thing is, can Justin Fields just be a better quarterback than what we've seen? Can he get rid of the ball quicker? Can he not hold the ball as long as he was in Pittsburgh and Chicago? Pittsburgh was actually, honestly, very good for his career because people are looking at those 4 or 5 games that he played, and they're watching film off that. And what were they, 4-1?
They were 4-1 or 5-1.
5-1, yeah. So they were winning with him, 3-1, 3-2, something like that.
I put a Super Bowl bet in on them with him at quarterback, and then he got benched.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that.
Vegas was like, nope.
I couldn't believe that. I took them, and I'm like, oh, he's 5-1. I'm loving this from Justin Fields. I was calling for him to be like the franchise quarterback for years and years, and then they bench him from Russ. Mm-hmm. Couldn't believe that.
I think the Jets would make sense. Do they do it? I don't know, because again, they have pick 7. Apparently, they love Jackson Dart. Like they love Jackson Dart is what I'm hearing. So
it's really going to come down to what Aaron Glenn wants his team to look like.
Exactly.
That's the line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing, like again, it's not like the Jets don't have players. We've talked about this multiple times. You got guys like Breece Hall. You got Olu Fashanu. And you know what's funny? They're going to keep a very similar O-line that they did last year. They have AVT, who was a Pro Bowler his rookie year. Olu, Joe Tippmann, great center, didn't miss a snap all season. John Simpson, guy from Baltimore, gritty, physical guy. Morgan Moses, I don't know, it might be coming back, might not, but they got room to work with, dude. You obviously have a very good defense, and you're going to lose DJ Reed. Are you going to pick a Will Johnson at 7? I mean, you're going to have to fill out that cornerback spot, but you got Michael Carter II, great slot coverage guy, very underrated, very, very underrated cornerback in this game. Depends on what they want. It depends on what type of quarterback they want. Do they want a guy who's got somewhat mobility but is also could get the ball out, can be accurate, take some shots down the field, or do they want someone when the pressure's high is going to escape the pocket, run down, get some yards? I don't know, and that's my thing. I don't know what they want until I see it. I can't project what this team is going to do because I don't know what Darren Mogi, I don't know what Aaron Glenn and Tanner Angstred want in their quarterback. I mean, again, they've come from Detroit. And they had Goff, and Goff is a gunslinger. He's not mobile. We know that. So I think that's a good landing spot for him. And I think back to Pittsburgh. I don't think that'd be bad either. I don't really
think so
don't.
Either.
I think that would be my number.
Happen,
that'd be my number 1 in my opinion. I think back to Pittsburgh because you had him. You can move off Russ. You could give him another chance because what he did with his chance and opportunity was good. Yeah. They won games. He looked like a quarterback out there. He was throwing a Freiermuth. He was getting Pickens involved. They just need more players. They just need more weapons. If you surround him with more weapons, I think he will flourish. But we'll see. I don't know.
So
he's tough. He's a tough one to put the nail
I have
in the
one
head.
other reason why I like him at the Jets. If he comes in and he's going to be the starter, has to be the starter.
100%.
You got Tyrod Taylor behind him, who's very similar, and he can learn from and get a little more advice. You know, Russell Wilson giving you advice is good, but Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, 2 different body types, 2 different styles of play at this point in their career. So, passing-wise, yeah, he could get a little bit of advice, but I think Tyrod could give him a little bit of
when to escape.
When
how
to
slide.
escape, how to slide, like all those things. Like he can help him a little more. And then on top of that, second question for you, Mike. Devontae Adams and Allen Lazard are gone.
They're gone. They're going to get cut.
You got to fill those roles. You got to. Yeah, that's 2 massive holes right there. Massive holes. That's what she said.
I got players. I got players in the top of my mind. Did my research.
Let's
so number 1, it's not sexy, but I think it's smart. I think Amari Cooper. What are the Bills going to do with Amari Cooper? I think Amari Cooper, he still has some left in the tank. I think he provides that veteran leadership, and I think he's a great complement, wide receiver number 2 to Garrett. I think he would be a very good option. Do they want to throw the bag at T. Higgins? Not really sure. Chris Godwin, I mean, hey, before he got hurt, he was the number 1 receiver in the league.
Yes.
I think that's another very, very good option. If you can get a Godwin in there, because he's one of the best wide receiver 2 in the league.
Speaking of holes, he knows how to find them.
Oh yeah, no, one of the best wide receiver 2s in the league. Yeah. I think if they take that veteran free agency route, how do they want to attack it? Do they want to just play it safe and just get someone who could fill the void, give him a cheap contract, or do they want to get someone like a T. Higgins or a Godwin where you know what they bring to the table? They're probably going to ask for 10 to 15 mil a year. Do you do that? Because The key is to just get some help for Garrett Wilson because Breece Hall is going to get stopped. Braylon Allen is going to get stopped. I've seen that they might take Tyler Warren at 7. I would love that. That would be so massive for the Jets. He would be perfect for them. He'd be perfect for a lot of teams. But they have how they approach free agency is going to tell a lot of where they go in the draft. If they don't do a jack thing, they're probably going to go take Jackson
very
Dart.
quiet. Been very quiet.
It is because you know what? They're talking it through. And again, it hasn't started yet, but I think they're going to be one of those teams that they're going to start paying people right off the bat because again, they're going to cut a lot of people. They're going to get their cap space up. I don't think they're going to go as defenses as we think. I think they'll attack defense in the draft, but in free agency, they're going to fill the voids of receiver. They're going to try to get maybe another old lineman in there and then maybe a quarterback. I don't know, but a lot of good options. Like if they play their cards right, I think they could set themselves up for a decent season. Again, they don't have bad players. It's going to take some adjusting to learn because they're learning a new system. They got new coaches in there. They have a lot to learn, but they can start off right by making good moves. And I think a receiver would be one of them. I don't know if they take a Tet McMillan at 7. If he's there, I wouldn't be mad about it. But
I have a weird feeling he's not going to be there.
I don't think so either, but I think they need a tie. Like the more I think about it, and when I saw Tyler Warren to the Jets, I don't think it would hurt them at all. I mean, that's like that's like the Raiders taking Brock at what 13 or 15. Like they had Michael Mayer, but they went BPA. They took the best available player for them, and look how that turned out. He's the best tight end in the league. So you never know. We haven't had a tight end.
We're going to always come back to this interview. But think about what Spags was saying. The tight end position is basically wide receiver and blocking in the run game.
It really is.
That's
and
really
he's
what it
perfect
is.
for it.
So if you like him and you need a wide receiver, you need targets.
And I'll tell you what, 3rd and 1, when you got a guy like him that could easily just take the wildcat and run up the middle, that changes games right there.
Tush push, the illegal play.
The illegal play. Hey, that changes the game. That wears down the defense, and that gives your offense an opportunity to go over the top and score.
All right, real quick. 4 Wellness is your key to a great year of health and activity. They believe longevity and performance, and by working with some of the top athletes in the world, they design functional nutrition and it tastes good to help extend your performance levels as long as possible. Mike, Aaron Rodgers should have been drinking this. I'm drinking it right now in my young whippersnap years. Aaron Rodgers should have been drinking it instead of doing DMT all the time.
Different form of caffeine, right?
Different form. Don't have to go into the dark. He can go into the light.
Yep.
So I know that. You and I love these products. I don't know about you, but they're delicious. They're good for you. Products are centered around your hydration levels, which we need when we're out on the golf course, and coffee, of course.
Yep.
Get you going. Get you going a bit. So head over to 4 Wellness today and start your health journey with $15 off on us, your first order, with the code Colin52473. That's right. Figure it out. You really got to look at it. Make sure you copy and paste that, bitch. All right? Sorry for wellness. I didn't mean to curse there.
There you go. For wellness. Eat them.
But let's do it. Golf coming soon.
Yes, it is.
All right, Mike. Let's get into the old heads of the NFL here.
Sure.
Which one do you want to start with? We got Kirk Cousins, we got Rodgers, and we got Jameis.
Let's go Rodgers.
Okay.
Let's talk about him.
Can't believe you chose him.
Number 1, retirement. I think that's his. I think that is the route he should go, bro. Think about him in the media. I think he would be a fun media guy to listen to. He would kind of be like a Romo because like you just know Rodgers and it's annoying. But I just don't think what else you need to do? Like, what's your legacy? Are you really going to win another Super Bowl? Because the teams that are going to want you are going to be the Vegas Raiders, the Tennessee Titans, and that's maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers. Maybe.
He should have learned from his teacher, Brett Favre. Just retire.
Just retire.
After Green Bay, you should have just retired.
Yes.
You should have never went to the Jets. Because now you're on a path where the Vikings will probably pick you up in some way, shape, or form to be like a quarterback coach. And the next thing you know, you're stealing money from children's organizations in Louisiana to pay for volleyball courts. Like, this is a bad path, Aaron. You can't be going down this path, Aaron.
If he doesn't retire, which I think he should, will he do it? I don't know. I think Tennessee is the one. I think Tennessee's the one because that just helps them for the future. But I just don't think he's got that in him. Why would he go there? If he wants to move there for good, sure, go ahead. Play for the Tennessee Titans and live in Nashville, Tennessee. That's fine. Yeah. They got some golf courses out there. But I think you're going to be, 41, maybe 42 years old. what else you need to do? Well, what else? You're not going to win another Super Bowl.
No.
I highly doubt it. Maybe somewhere, but I highly doubt it. Retire. Call it a day. Retire. But if you do, I don't think Vegas works. I just don't. If he wants to be closer to home and still play the game of football, sure, because they're in the same position as the Titans. They got to fill out their roster, move to the future, have someone to just play now, maybe get some wins, sell some jerseys, get the merchandising sales up and everything, make some money for the organization. That's fine. Brady, is Brady going to want a guy like Rodgers in there? I don't know. We'll see. But I think Tennessee would be the best fit for him if you're talking about him still continuing to play. I think Tennessee would be nice because they're good. They have the number 1 pick. What are they going to trade back? Are they going to take a guy like Travis Hunter? That'd be fun. It'd be fun for them, but they have a lot more issues than a quarterback.
I think
for both teams.
I think Tom Brady would lose his mind having Aaron Rodgers as quarterback because what Brady probably wants someone in there that's young that he could teach up to be similar to him,
or someone that like is devoted to football.
Yeah, like Aaron Rodgers, it's just going to be a headache. Half the time you're going to have to go drag him out like he's Elvis from the casino. It's not going to be a good scenario.
Yeah,
it's not going to be a good scenario. That you're sending him to the land of sin, brother. That man lives off of DMT and perk every day. Like why? That is the worst spot for him. The absolute worst spot for an Aaron Rodgers. He should be going to like. He should be going into a home. Honestly, he belongs in a home. Leave. Just leave.
Is it likely? Is there any possibility that he does end up in Pittsburgh?
Dude, I just tried to rack my whole brain. I went through every single NFL team trying to figure out where he should go. There's not one NFL team that should take a chance on this guy. That would be the dumbest move in the entire National Football League.
I think if he wants to win once more, I think Pittsburgh
wants to win?
Wants to win.
Brother, there's no place that he could win. There's no place. If he goes to Pittsburgh, that'll be Tomlin's first year under 500.
Yeah, I mean,
guaranteed.
Hey, you never know, bro. When people leave the Jets, they tend to look good again.
Bro, the Jets had more weapons than the Steelers. What is he going to do on the Steelers?
Just hand the ball off.
To who? Najee Harris for 1 yard?
Wow,
that's going to be impressive.
Jalen Warren for a yard or two.
Impressive.
Kirk, let's do Kirk real quick. 1 year deal. He's kind of falling in the same category as Rodgers. Like, if you want someone who's going to be your bridge, that's fine. Again, I don't think the Jets are out of the question. I don't. I think it's smart for them. Mm-hmm. I think if they could block for him, it would be fine. Like, let's not forget, Kirk had his first couple weeks. He was pretty damn good. I mean.
He was.
I think he handed an Eagles a loss in week 2 in Philly.
He did.
He's still accurate, but it's just he can't move. Like, that's his only thing. So another bridge guy, very similar to Rodgers. That's really all I have on him. He will not be back in Atlanta.
They chose Michael Penix. Like, they knew what they were doing. They knew.
What do you think about him, real quick?
I like Michael Penix.
You think he's gonna?
I think in that
he's gonna make a difference.
Hey. Kyle Pitts. We're a week out from the Super Bowl. Let's bring it back.
Right?
Kyle Pitts.
Bounce
back year for the 5th year running. No, but I actually do think that Michael Penix playing quarterback gives Kyle Pitts a better chance of being successful in the league. I mean, you saw it when he took over. Kyle Pitts was actually on ESPN multiple times every single week. That's a first for his career, whether it was good or bad. But he's being targeted. And I think that's step 1 to the return of Kyle Pitts. And, Michael Penix, not super mobile, but he can move the ball down the field. I think that's going to help Bijan, and he's got Bijan.
That's going to be his moving the ball down the field, is utilizing Bijan.
Yeah,
I think he's
accurate.
He's going to play a very similar role than Kirk, but I just think he's going to be quicker with his thoughts. I think he's going to be quicker with his reactions because the games that he played, he's going to throw picks. We know that, but he's also going to throw touchdowns. And I think where Michael, if they can just build around him a little bit more.
Get him another wide receiver. I think the defense has shown its capability. Again, you got Jesse Bates out there, one of the best safeties in the league. And I don't know. I think it fits. That offense fits him because Bijan is going to be the key. I am super high on Bijan. I think he's going to finish crazy enough, I think he's going to be RB1 next year. I think he's going to be I think he's going to be a top 3 running back next year. Bro, why I got so much hate for saying this in the middle of the season.
That was dumb. He's a great running back.
I said that there was no disrespect to Saquon, no disrespect to Derrick Henry, but Bijan is the best running back in the league. Like, I'm sorry. I know they just ran for 1,000,000 yards. Bijan, go watch any game. Bijan is doing what's Saquon, if he was on the Falcons, would have rushed for like 1,500 this year. 1,500. Same with Derrick Henry. You know, what Bijan does on the football field is insane. It's insane. You put Bijan on the Eagles, he ran for 4,000 yards, guaranteed.
Even
6,000 possibly.
I'm telling you now, if I had to just put 3 guys in my top 5 right now, it is February 20th, I believe.
Do it.
Saquon, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson. Those are my top 3 backs in the year, and I think they're going to absolutely flourish.
Yeah.
Especially Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't want to hear any hatred on that guy because with David Montgomery, the dude is still he finished as the number 1 back in the league.
Yes.
Based off fantasy terms. So
based off fantasy.
He was electric. He is so good in that system. Bijan is the exact same. And I think with Michael Penix being there, they are not going to want him to throw a lot. They are going to run the offense through Bijan and Tyler Algier. So it's going to help Michael Penix out, and I think they're going to be a good team. I don't think they're going to be tough. I think Tampa's going to be tough to overcome. I think Tampa's only getting better. I think they win the division. But Atlanta, if they could break the curse of not making the playoffs and having a shitty back end of the season, they have a chance to make the playoffs too.
This division is going to be a problem.
I can't
year.
wait. It's fun.
Dude,
it's fun to watch because there's a bunch
better.
of unknowns.
Yeah, Atlanta's better with their quarterback. Carolina, way better with Bryce
I know
Young.
you're excited.
Dude, I still go to my Twitter. I have it tagged. Carolina is going to make the playoffs with Bryce Young and possibly push for an NFC Championship game. I did not say Super Bowl. There's people out there that want to say I said Super Bowl. That's not the case. Not the case. Please. I'm thinking of ordering one.
I might get you one.
I'm the biggest Bryce Young. I've never given up on him on this show. I was talking shit on. They signed. I didn't like this. Actually, I did like this, but I didn't like this. I thought they signed him for too much money. They signed the Red Rocket back to the Panthers for like. It was a smaller deal, but still, the fact that there was 2 digits in front of the million is insane.
Oh no!
Yeah,
oh,
like
God,
it should have been like a $5 million deal to keep him in Carolina.
Bring Kirk in.
Like that.
Like,
no, that's worse. That's worse. No, but
backup.
Yeah, I think the Red Rocket.
mil?
I think the Red Rocket's a good backup. He clearly helped Bryce Young become an MVP candidate next year. I'm excited for Carolina, but I do think that the Saints might win 2 games next year with Kellen Moore, the Pillsbury Doughboy. That team's going to be absolute dog shit. But between the Bucs, the Falcons, and the Panthers, this division will be top 3 in the NFL.
Wow.
In terms of competitiveness.
Competitive?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm not saying that they're
fair.
not going to have a Super
As
Bowl
record,
winner. But competitiveness, they will be top 3 in the NFL.
I like that.
It'll be them,
I actually agree with you there.
the NFC East, and the AFC West. I think those 3 are going to be the most competitive. Least likely to have a runaway winner.
That's fine. Wait, are there any more quarterbacks? Are we done?
No, I mean, we could talk about Jameis, but that man belongs in a booth. Talk about having fun at the Super Bowl. That man was on a generational run. I love that guy. I love him. Did you see that?
I think it's time.
You should find the video. I'll send you some of them. He's been going around with his family to different like fast food and drive-thrus, and they just taste test everything on the menu.
He's going to get hired on Barstool, bro. He's going to be a Barstool guy. I see
him
it.
and Gruden on the same show would be incredible.
I think
I love what Gruden's doing.
Me too, and I think that's a move because Jameis is so fun and energetic as a personality. Like, he could still go play football if he wants, but at this point, I just feel like he's playing just for the fuck of it and just to enjoy it. Like, bro, he could succeed in the entertainment media business like no one else can succeed.
What I don't want him to do is go to ESPN.
Yeah, don't go in no booth. No,
I hate
I'm
when these guys
100%
are like hilarious, and then they go to ESPN. Like, you see RG3. I think RG3, if he was allowed to actually speak what comes to his mind, if he was at Barstool, he would be so funny. But he gets in trouble at ESPN when he talks.
That's the thing too. Like every personality. Look at
Pat
Greg
McAfee.
Olson.
Pat McAfee's getting away with it.
Exactly. Like Greg Olson, Tom Brady, like those guys, like Luke Kuechly, I could see him being in the ESPN booth.
Yeah.
Those are guys that like want to talk about the X's and O's, like are still involved in the game. Like Jameis Winston, I feel like for Barstool, they would have him doing like Jersey Jerry shit, and it would be perfect for them. And again, listen, fuck Barstool at the end of the day, but like,
I love Barstool.
He'd fill it perfectly.
Dude, Barstool, don't listen to this guy. You guys are doing great.
No,
did
you guys
see
are
the
doing
video
great.
of Jersey Jerry meeting John Gruden for the first time?
I did see that, yes.
Guess the perfume right away?
Yeah.
Or the cologne?
Well, I saw the tweet that he said, and they're just ripping him. But he'd be perfect. They should do that. I'm calling it now. Give it less than a year. If he's not on a football team and he's a free agent, he will be signed by Barstool.
Yeah. All right, last thing before we get out of here. We don't have to talk about this at all. I'm just making a call to action. Roger Goodell, I think you should investigate the Philadelphia Eagles for having the Italian mob infiltrating the league. They just signed Petula to the OC and basically cemented the Big Four. They're looking like the Sopranos. I'm just worried that we're going to start seeing deaths at the link.
What do you think?
I don't want Jerry Jones to go there and all of a sudden there's like he's getting beat up and held hostage for money by Nick Sirianni and Big Dom. I'm just looking out for the betterment of the league. You know, like there's little teams like Nashville's team down there in Tennessee. You don't want them going to Philadelphia with that type of stuff hanging over their head. You know, the fans are already enough for them. But like we got to protect the league. We can't have mobsters running it. You know, they just won a Super Bowl and we're allowing the mob to take over. They're starting to look like a communist organization down there in Philadelphia. Wow. That's a joke. Don't come for me. All right, let's get out of here. You want to get out?
Go USA, by the way.
See ya. Go to Mesa.
See you later.
Bye.